On this episode, we're checking pier caps for elevation, and we're showing you how we set anchor bolts. Stay tuned, folks. All right, we're back. So, glad you guys stayed in long enough to see what we're doing on this one. So, in this episode, we're on the Walden Ridge project. We're checking all of the pier elevations. The caps have been formed by the concrete subcontractor, and then we're going to show you how we set anchor bolts. And then I'll probably just do a quick tour around the property for those of you that are still with me at the end. So, in any case, whenever you're setting these pier caps, you typically want to construct a box form around it, around the pier, the masonry, and you want to leave it a little bit larger than the actual masonry because you don't want to try to beat the form into place over top of the masonry. So you want to leave your forms a little bit, how can I put it, a little bit larger than the actual, the masonry opening itself. Now, again, you know, you rely on the concrete subcontractors to do all this, but if you're doing this yourself, you want to make a perfect box. You want to cut all of your pieces perfectly square. You can make your box, and you want to make your box about a 1/4 inch bigger than the actual masonry all the way around. And then what we've done is we have steel that's in the footer below, and then we've tied it in with a grid on top. So all the steel is integrated. These caps, these piers are going to be rock solid when they're done. And no, you wouldn't be able to drive a tank into them, but they definitely ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So the biggest thing when it comes to these pier caps that you have to understand is that they have to be perfectly level. And because, well, the reason why they have to be perfectly level is because we have these girder pockets that are cut into the exterior masonry wall. Those pockets are set at an elevation that's 10 3/8 of an inch down from the top of the actual CMU wall. And what that allows us to do is put an 1.5 inch piece of treated lumber on top of the CMU wall. And then when we drop in our 11 7/8 LVLs, that's for our floor system, our girders, they sit in those girder pockets. That's what those refer to. The bottom of that pocket, when the girder sits in that pocket, is level with the top of this pier cap. So it basically completely supports the floor all the way along from point A to point B, or vice versa. So we want to definitely make sure that our pier caps are perfectly level. And the only way to really accurately do this is to set yourself up with a laser. So you can visually check that they're level using a regular level. So we're good there. The pier cap is level. And then we need to check that the elevation's correct. And in order to do that, you need yourself a good laser. And if you hear that continuous beep, hold on, there it is. That means that this pier cap is perfectly level with the grade that we've set, or the benchmark that's been set. So that's basically what you're going for. And every single pier should mirror that exact number. So just to give you a little context so you see what's happening. There it is again. Check this one. Give it a minute. Sometimes you gotta, the laser is very precise. We got about a 1/16 of an inch. The laser is accurate to within a 1/16 of an inch. Come on, being difficult on me here. There it is. All right, so that one's level. We got a little bit of water here in the crawl space. We're gonna bring in dirt. We're gonna backfill this so that this doesn't happen after the floor system is framed. There it is. Oh. Yeah, see, it's so finicky. But anyways, it's definitely level. Lasers, I'm telling you, I mean, a 1/16 of an inch doesn't buy you very much room at all. And that one's level. So we check all of our pier caps. This is what we do to make sure that the floor is gonna be, you hire a subcontractor to do the work, but it's always the general contractor's job to verify that the work that they did is absolutely correct. And that's what we do here at Benchmark. We double check all of our subcontractors' work, not because we're trying to catch them in anything, but we try to catch mistakes. Everything is measured twice and cut once. So, come on, being difficult on me. There it is. All right, so all of our piers are perfectly level. We've double checked those. So let's go on and move over to the actual anchor bolts. So when you're setting anchor bolts, you'll look at our marking here. The fluorescent orange is for the rebar that needs to go in the cell, and the white marks are for where the anchor bolts go. And we have two different types of dimensions for anchor bolts. And so what we've gone ahead and done is we made a jig, because when you have a jig, it makes life easy. So let me introduce you to the anchor bolts that are 8,000 and the anchor bolts that are 12,000 plus. We try to make things super easy for all of our subcontractors. This is where we want our anchor bolt set. So, and we also have it so it's conveniently you can slide the actual jig out when the anchor bolt's set, because they're going to be setting these anchor bolts in wet concrete. And so once it's set, you're going to want to actually be able to slide the jig away from the bolt so that you know that it stays there. But this is what we're looking for here. So it's set there. We have this set so that it falls at a very specific distance with regard to the actual CMU wall face. And we're not, for most of the walls, we have one detail, and that's on the waterproofing wall, where we want to make sure that we have enough room for the actual rim joist, and we have another double rim joist on these walls. Actually, I'm sorry, it's on this side. So this is the side that the rim joist will be on. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to be doing a waterproofing system. So we're going to preset, before the framers come in, we're going to go ahead and preset the sill plate, and we're going to go ahead and preset the first rim joist and support it. And then we're going to backfill all of this. We're going to waterproof this whole system before all that happens. And then we're going to pour our concrete porches. That's the system that we've elected to go with to make it easier on the framer. The other option is to leave all this till later, temporarily brace up the roof structure, and then once the framers are completely done, then you have the framer come back and actually put the actual posts in. We're trying to make things easy here, folks. This is the easiest way to do it. Our in-house crew will go ahead and lay the sill plates on all of these exterior foundation walls for the porches. That way we can accomplish our waterproofing detail, because it comes up over that exterior rim joist. Now that creates a little bit of a problem for the subcontractor with regard to attaching in their floor framing. So we're going to end up having a double rim joist in those areas. So it is what it is. You have to, it's a trade-off. Which one do you want to go with? We're electing to make it easier for our framer and put a little bit of burden on our in-house crew to deal with miscellaneous things like this, so that it moves the project along faster. It may not seem like it does, but it actually does. So this is for the 8-inch CMU. The 8,000 is it's kind of a joke, but anyway, and we've got it also the inside block face. Let me go ahead and take out the anchor bolt itself, and there you go. Placed against the block wall so that they know exactly where it goes. So it basically lets them take their anchor bolt. They put that over there like that. They put it in like that. They set it. They spin it so that the J portion is like sideways or whatever it may be. In these particular cells, it doesn't matter so much, but then the anchor bolt is set perfectly with the right spacing. For the anchor bolt 12,000, this is designed for the 12-inch wide CMU that's on the bottom brick ledge down there, because our brick course is going to come up to about right here. So we want the anchor bolt to be as close to the center of the wall as possible when we're setting our sill plate, because the sill plate is going to be a 2x12, and the sill plate will cover the CMU and the brick withe that we're putting on the house. And then our rim joist will actually be out here. So that's why this is the way that it is. And then again, the same thing with the anchor bolt. There's enough space in here. Bear with me, guys, here for a second. There's enough room in here for them to actually slip the anchor bolt down into the cell, slide it flush with the face, like so, and turn it like that. And then all they got to do is make sure that they turn in the actual J so it's turned in sideways like that. It's set to the right elevation. We want to have thread sticking up, but not too much thread. And then they're going to do it on any cell that has the white marking. Super simple system. We're all about keeping it simple, guys. Other than that, that's about the gist of what's changed since we were here last. My concrete guy's got a couple of things to button up. He's almost ready to pour. We got to drop some steel in a couple of these cells. It's my job to inspect everything and verify. So once he does that, I can release him to go ahead and pour the concrete. So he's done this cell. We've got the marking and we got the steel. Same thing here. We got the steel in there. We got the marking. Now, you don't necessarily have to tie the steel to the steel that was in the footing, but if you can reach it, then go ahead and do it. It's a real pain unless you have tiny hands. Now, our girder pockets have steel in each cell. Since this girder pocket fell in the middle of two cells, both cells need to have rebar in them. There's no rebar in there right now, but you can be assured that there will be. And then we've also got this corner on this inside here is going to experience a tremendous amount of hydrostatic pressure and pressure from the gravel when it's backfilled and then compacted. So we want to make sure that we reinforce these 3 cells. He's got that one, but we need to get this one here, and we need to get this one here. And that's why we go around and mark them off, so we make it easy for everybody. And that's kind of what's going on. There's your update. We've checked our pier caps. All the pier caps are money. He's only missing a couple of cells. They're almost ready to start pouring concrete. I'm pretty excited about it. The project's moving on. It's moving forward. Everything is getting done in a very relatively timely manner. We have ran into one hiccup with the block company. This is, again, when you're talking to your builder does everything in their power. At least we do. We do everything in our power to make sure that we set everyone up to win. But that only goes so far. Our brick company just recently informed us that they submitted the order for the brick to the actual brick manufacturer because they're just the middleman. And they came back with the fact that they put the order in wrong and they made modular brick and not queen brick. This house calls for queen brick, and there's a reason for that. It's twofold. The first reason is queen brick is taller and thinner. The thinner allows us to have the air gap on the brick ledge. So if we use a modular brick, the brick would virtually be touching this exterior face and we wouldn't have the breathing room that we need, the air gap behind the brick. And realistically, the masons are good, but you can see, you know, hey, these guys have been doing it for like 30 years and they still got snots everywhere. Not a big deal. They're responsible for cleaning that up when they come back. But when it comes to setting brick, they're going to do the same thing with brick, and they're going to end up filling that air gap in with mud. So the queen brick buys them the extra space that they need to maintain that air gap. That's the first reason. Reason number 2 is modular bricks are shorter, which means you actually would need more brick to cover the same square footage. So they'll give us a double whammy. We can't take the modular brick because we would need about, for this home, 800 more bricks. So 800 to 900 bricks. So that means that the masonry contractor would actually have to charge more money because they charge per brick to set brick. And then we would have to buy more brick, which would be 800 to 900 more brick, which comes out to roughly about another pallet. So there are reasons for everything. If your contractor has told you that that's the way that they need to do it, trust the process. There's a reason for it, folks. There's a reason for everything, within reason. Unless your contractor is completely unorganized, but you probably should be able to get that vibe right off the bat. Here at Benchmark, we knew everything that's going into everything before we even start building the house. But again, we cannot plan into the equation when the supplier orders the wrong brick. Or not even that, the supplier ordered the right brick, the manufacturer themselves made the wrong brick. Well, you can't make this stuff up, guys. So anyway, that's what's going. I'm gonna get out of here. It looks like it's gonna rain today, which wouldn't surprise me. It's been raining pretty much every day here. Summer in Tennessee, folks. But that's the site. Again, super clean. We're ready to rock and roll. We're just waiting. We're just waiting on pouring concrete, which is supposed to happen Wednesday. Today is Monday. They're gonna get in here. They're gonna finish those last few things for us, and we're gonna be ready to rock and roll. Till next time, folks. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Subscribe, and we'll go from there. Peace out, guys.